Rudeus travels north in a carriage when one of the two women sitting across him questions his health since he's been sighing a lot during the journey. Rudeus tries to avoid the answer about his reason for going to a dangerous place, but Suzanne seems to be interested in the young mage in front of him. Sara is offended by Rudeus' lack of a positive response and lashes out. Rudeus tells them he is looking for his mother, one of the victims of the mass teleportation in Fitoa. Sara looks away in embarrassment, while Suzanne decides to guide him about some routes of the Northlands as a help to the young boy. Rudeus books himself a room for the month where he sulks for the first night thinking about Eris, but decides to focus on finding Zenith rather than his heartbreak. The next day, Rudeus enters the guild where random strangers joke about a kid being there, but then pity him after hearing his request to disband his party. Rudeus looks around for the jobs and requests to pick one, but the woman shows concern about him wanting to do it alone. Suzanne interrupts after overhearing the conversation and invites him to join their party to earn money rather than go for a reckless job all by himself. Suzanne's companions also agree that a party increases the chance of survival rather than going alone, and even Sara reluctantly agrees it's the better option for him. Going with the flow, Rudeus tells them he is a mage and supports melee fighters, which Suzanne deems perfect. They then decide to meet the next morning for their first hunt. Rudeus lastly notices Sara's attitude once again, thinking about how alike she is to Eris. The next morning, Rudeus officially introduces himself as a mage and mentions he can cast spells without chanting them. Something inside him stops him from properly shaking hands with Suzanne, but she lets it slide. On their way, the rest of them introduce themselves and their respective jobs. Rudeus is surprised to know Suzanne is not their leader, but since she can keep everyone on the same page, she is frequently listened to. Sara once again mentions that she is not in favor of him tagging along and is just letting it happen for Suzanne's sake. Suzanne halts and gives Sara a reality check that she might have to interact with other parties one day, and this attitude won't help her in her future. She tells her one last time to try to learn how to work with different sorts of people. As everyone walks ahead of him, Rudeus realizes he is being used to teaching Sara a few things, but he doesn't care about that. He can see a reflection of Eris in her at this point. The party decides to review their combat strategy since they know that Luster Grizzlies don't see well in the dark, so they should use this to their advantage. Since Rudeus only has a role at the start, he offers to shift to a better support, but Sara starts acting like a brat once again and counters rudely at Rudeus' every attempt of being a good support. Suzanne tells her off, so Sara walks away. Timothy later apologizes to Rudeus about Sara getting full of herself. Timothy praises his mage skills, but Rudeus walks away mentioning how it won't bring back his loved ones. The party casts spells on the Luster Grizzlies and considers it a simple job since they might be able to defeat them by only spells. Suddenly, Rudeus is alarmed, followed by everyone else at the appearance of the Black Grizzlies. All of them decide to retreat. Rudeus is about to cast a spell, but his inner voice makes him halt that it's already too late and he should give in already. Knowing he already doesn't have much, he drops his hand and awaits the attack that would end his life. Suzanne suddenly defends Rudeus and asks others to retreat, but it's too late as they re-surrounded by Black and Luster Grizzlies. Everyone starts fighting the Grizzlies with all their might, defending themselves as well as each other. Rudeus is lost at how nobody is making a run for their lives and is fighting to survive. He can understand the uneasy yet exciting feeling he is witnessing after a long time. As Sara helps a tired and injured Suzanne to get up, they are once again targeted by more Black Grizzlies, but this time a certain mage does not halt. He smiles at Sara, telling her he'll deal with the rest, and casts a spell throwing a huge blow of fire on the rest of the Grizzlies. The hunt successfully ends with this final attack. Everyone feels content and peels the skin off of the grizzlies. They then burn the bodies when Suzanne expresses gratitude to Rudeus. Feeling at peace after a long time, Rudeus thanks Suzanne for letting him tag along and finally shakes hands with her. As everyone gets ready to head back, Sara reluctantly thanks Rudeus for his help and walks away. As the party returns to the guild, the adventurers are not amused by the outsiders and badmouth them. They whisper how it was an easy job and they should just leave, but this party knows how to handle people. Timothy steps forward and announces a round of drinks for everyone as a celebration of their first successful job. And just as they thought, a drink is all it takes to win over hard-working adults. Suzanne then announces the new face, Rudeus, who laughs genuinely after a long time at the warm welcome he is receiving. At night, Rudeus sits by the fireplace when all of a sudden tears start rolling down his face. He feels guilty for forgetting how to live seriously and forgetting all the lessons he's been taught since his childhood. He decides not to think he has lost everything and uses all the worst moments of his life as a motivation to continue going forward. The broken-hearted mage finally decides to move on and takes the first step by burning the bunch of hair of Eris he's been carrying. He wants people to talk about him so the word can reach zenith, whether it's loneliness or Rudeus' obsession, but he seems to be working out a lot and has given his muscles names like Hercules and Hulk. Rudeus enters the guild where he sees a party talking about clearing the snowdrake infestation out of the Ilbron cave. The leader of the party side-eyes Rudeus. The rest of the people talk to Rudeus about letting him know if they find his mother. He adopted the nickname Quagmire in the town. He has built a good reputation in town by working different jobs and helping random strangers as well as adventurers. Sara has also accepted Rudeus is not bad and has been decent around him. Rudeus jogs towards the guild to report and then heads home, but Sara offers if he wants to tag along for the next job. Rudeus didn't plan on working with the same group and fidgeted a bit before accepting the offer. Sara tells him he can say no, but he politely apologizes for the delayed response. The party travels to the Golgo ruins, which Rudeus finds uniquely interesting. He suddenly foresees Sara about to fall and catches her in time. The job is to collect all the snowdrake scales falling in the ruins. While waiting around, Rudeus feels like he has seen the statue, but the focus is diverted by a sudden attack they all face. A bunch of snowdrakes appear out of nowhere, making everyone retreat. Rudeus throws a few spells to divert them, but more keep appearing. He looks back to see where everyone is and halts in surprise to see the team coming back to rescue him rather than saving themselves. As they all fight the snowdrakes, the people of the party, who were to hunt at the Ilbron cave, appear out of nowhere and start hunting the drakes. Both parties then start fighting in the offensive and get rid of all the snowdrakes that appeared there. Timothy smiles as he tries to thank Sol, the leader, for helping and introduces a counter arrow, but only earns a smack on the face in return. This makes everyone alarmed, while the guy shouts that they are stealing their job that was announced at the guild. The rest have no idea, but Rudeus mentions hearing them trying to work at the Ilbron cave while they are at the Golgo ruins. Timothy and Suzanne are clear that the paths might have interlinked the cave and the ruins, but the two parties are at a different job. The person lets them take one of the snowdrakes, as the rest are his prey. Timothy smiles and asks everyone to retreat with their reward and celebrate. At the drinks, everyone talks about how it was a stroke of luck that they survived this sudden attack. Sara brags to Rudeus about being saved by them, as any other party would be left him to die. Suzanne then teases Sara for rushing out before everyone to help Rudeus, while she tries to make excuses of just returning the favor. The group then celebrates, when suddenly Sol appears near their table. He apologizes to Suzanne and Timothy, but also mocks his politeness and consistent smiles. He then notices Rudeus and tells him he's the worst of all. Rudeus smiles, as his smile is being mocked since Sol calls it mockery rather than polite behavior. Sol keeps mocking him with a worsening tone, talking about Rudeus' eyes looking down upon others, and Rudeus thinking of having things worse than everyone else. His words start getting to Rudeus, yet he calmly tells Sol that he'll stay out of his sight. Rudeus is hanging around the guild when he sees Suzanne and the others with worrying expressions. Timothy mentions Mimir being dead and Sara separated, but they can still save her. Suzanne mentions that the blizzard would just endanger more of their lives. Seeing them all guilty, Rudeus asks where they lost Sara and later excuses himself. He decides to go to the Trier Forest and look for Sara. He isn't even sure what satisfaction he is seeking by doing this, but he feels like accomplishing something at the moment. Or maybe he wants to not turn his back on someone like Eris did on him. He kills all the snow buffaloes and finds her earring. He wonders if he could have been friends with Sara when he is attacked by a block of ice. He notices Sara trapped by a monster tree and runs to try and save her. He burns the branches with his spell and escapes right before both of them can be killed. As Sara regains her complete senses, she asks how Rudeus appeared there. He explains her party mentioning this and informs her of Mimir's death. As the two are about to travel back, Sara fidgets in her place, wanting to talk to Rudeus, which goes unnoticed by him. She calls him out, thanking him, and smiles at him for the first time since she met him. As they travel back, Rudeus feels like he saved himself and got forgiven rather than feeling like he rescued her. The two meet the rest of the Counter Arrow at the gate of the town, surprising them when Rudeus went out to save her in that snowstorm. Suzanne scolds Rudeus for the reckless behavior, while Sara defends him, as if the roles of the two women have magically been reversed. Timothy expresses gratitude to Rudeus while tearing up, but Rudeus didn't do him any favor. The Counter Arrow has done so much for him that it feels nice for him to help them. Rudeus walks home happily, ready to get a peaceful sleep after a long time. Rudeus has now started working alongside Counter Arrow, and his name, Rudeus the Quagmire, is becoming well known. Also, he's getting really close to Sara. She talks about his father, to which Rudeus shares that his father is also a knight. However, him being talented in magic is because of Roxy, his teacher. Sara gets a bit jealous upon hearing another woman's name from him. She then steers the conversation away and invites him along to buy a new dagger tomorrow. In simpler words, she asks him out. Rudeus, being Rudeus, agrees to go with her. The next day, they enjoy their date while casually eating and enjoying. Sara chooses the dagger of Rudeus' choice, and they buy two of the same. Later that night, they are enjoying drinks when she talks about her shirt getting tighter. She then hints to Rudeus that she's getting drunk. She even gets close to him. Rudeus is in love with Eris, so he obviously thinks about moving on and gives in. To carefully aim for the sure shot, Rudeus tells her that he will now drop her off. She still wants to talk to him a bit more, so she suggests going to his place instead, for talking. Back in their room, Rudeus turns on the candle. Including the candle, now all three are turned on. Their talking begins. Just then, Rudeus notices that his body is rising a sign of abnormalities, to the point that it's not rising at all. Since they cannot talk anymore, Rudeus is now panicking about this rising issue. Not rising issue. Wondering when this issue started, Rudeus notices Sara leaving. At least Sara was able to get up. She tells him that she only came here to repay her debt, and by saying that it's the worst, she leaves. Like a mature man, Rudeus is now drinking at a bar while the bartender tells him to go easy. Just then, Sol arrives and starts throwing insults at Rudeus. Only this time, the man is worried about his manhood, so he actually acts like a man, and unlike Sara, he gives Sol what he wants, a fight. he keeps hitting him while yelling out his true feelings. Rudeus puts on a smiley mask because he does not want to be hated. If he could act like Sol, he would have. Now he's crying while asking himself why she had to leave, why she couldn't stay around and laugh about it. Sol accepts all the punches thrown at him and is feeling bad for him. Instead, he apologizes and states that maybe Rudeus is the unluckiest one here. Sol is told about his permanent 6 o'clock issue. Sol tells him that he's not mocking him and he does not have to fake in front of him. Rudeus trusts him and shares that his depression goes back to Eris. He proudly shares that they were both each other's debut. He tells him that Eris left while he was sleeping, and Sol figures that it might be due to his bad last-minute action. Unfortunately, Sol is speaking this from experience. Sol tells Rudeus to stop crying so they can get a cure. To overwrite this bad memory, he takes him to the professionals. It's already late at night, and 2 drunk friends are heading off somewhere. I think you know where they must be headed. Unfortunately, there's no Upper Moon 6 in this entertainment district. Rudeus and Eris exchange names, and while she pours some wine for him, she tells Rudeus that she heard his name from her younger sister. No, you're misunderstanding. Rudeus healed her with his healing magic, without asking for anything in return. She's happy to be embraced by such a nice guy. Rudeus asks for another glass, while Eris tells her to enjoy something other than the wine. Their enjoyment begins while Sol waits for him outside. After some time, Rudeus comes out. Seeing him still down, Sol realizes that what else is still down. Eris apologizes for not being able to help and shares that Rudeus seems to be afraid of women. He needs someone who does not hate him at any cost. Roxy immediately pops up in his mind, but he knows that that's never happening. Since there's no hurry, they drink all night until it's time for the store to close. Rudeus is still drunk while Sol teaches him about how he should proceed step by step, and as Monica would say, it's not always about 7, 7, 7. He tells him that it's fine for Sara, for it's him who needs more time and prepare himself. He also clears his misunderstanding that Sara wasn't doing this to repay her debt. She actually likes him. Rudeus agrees to meet her tomorrow afternoon. The vine starts talking as Rudeus states that he doesn't care if it works or not, and would definitely refuse a girl like Sara. He prefers women like Eris. You know why. Sol tries to stop him, but he goes on to call their date stupid. Rudeus matches Hikigaya's level of misfortune, as Sara happens to be standing behind him. The alcohol's effect wears off with a nice and tight slap. She tells him that he's the worst and walks off crying. She even throws the dagger on the ground before leaving. Rudeus picks up the dagger and is about to stab himself when Sol kicks it away and tells him to chase her. Rudeus has enough of everything. Since his father is far away, Sol offers to join them as they are headed to a large-scale labyrinth in the direction of the Duchy of Eris. Sol does not hate him since he abandoned that creepy smile and revealed his true nature. Rudeus agrees to go along. Meanwhile, this curly-haired lady hears Rudeus' name and asks the men to share more information about him. In exchange, she will give him what every man wants. Not the PS5, but herself.